This is the Professional Stepdad, a place where we share stories, strategies, and ideas for men just like you to help answer that one important question: how can I be a better stepdad? Okay, we're live. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 32. It's been a few weeks since I've been on the podcast. I've been doing some work. I've been finishing the outline of the book that I'm writing for stepdads, developing the website for the stepdads, called The Professional Stepdad. So, sometimes you gotta know when to take a little bit of a break, even if you're wanting to put out as much information as possible so you can focus on certain things. So today is Thursday and I jumped back on social media and I started to interact with some of the stepdads and some of the step parents that are on the platforms that I belong to. And, I'm wanting to like always have like these subject matters to talk about. Right? And so I try to find inspiration on social media with questions asked by men about their journey as a stepdad, the things that they do, what's working, what's not working. And then, I go into a little bit of a rabbit hole when I start to read the comments and how all over the place they are, but how the central theme seems to stay consistent, right? And the theme that seems to stay consistent, and kind of bear with me here because I just wrote this down as I'm reading through all these questions and these comments and these responses. And then here's the thing. So again, my objective is to bring you real-time, real-life knowledge through my experience so that possibly that you could take what I do, how I do it, what I've learned over the years, and then apply it to your situation. Here's what I'm learning. Here's what I'm learning about some of the men that I work with and some of the men that I give advice to. You guys, I do take the time to give advice and to listen and to understand. I understand that my journey is different than your journey, and your journey is going to be different from the next guy's journey. We are all going to have different obstacles and very different circumstances, whether it be financial, environmental, maybe it has to do with health, maybe it has to do with like special needs, maybe there's a lot of different scenarios that can be thrown at us. But the blueprint can stay the same. Here's the problem. The problem with the blueprint that was handed to me and was probably handed to you is that it's an inherited disbelief or it's an inherited ignorance by the stepdads that came before us. This is what I mean. So again, bear with me because I wrote this down. So I'm going to kind of just read this how I wrote it and then hopefully it makes sense and I'll kind of parlay into the next thing. So single moms looking for love is kind of where we find ourselves as stepmen, right? Stepdads, which is where the mom was with the bio dad, they broke up, something happened, maybe he died, maybe he's down the street, maybe he's in another country, but she is wanting to find that person for her who will also be able to take on the responsibility of her kids, okay? So single moms looking for love, single men not mature enough to take the responsibility when they jump into that relationship with that single mom. There's a false narrative that is driving the behaviors. And what I mean by that, the false narrative that are driving the behaviors, meaning like, I read a lot of stepdads and a lot of moms too now, where they go in and they say things like, I don't know my role, or has anybody ever experienced this? I want to chime in. The mom, will try to put me in my place or maybe not pay attention to the advice that I'm giving her. So then I just give up and I don't want to do it. And it's a false narrative that is driving the behavior. It's this protective system that the single moms have towards the men. It's funny, right? Like the women in these situations are awesome, loving mothers. And they want to just find that person who they can spend the rest of their life with. And And then we fall in love or we jump into the relationship, and you would think that they were looking for you, right? They were looking for somebody to come in. And don't get me wrong, there's these set of standards and values that you have to pass, like these tests, whether it be with outside circumstances like the family, the bio dad, the parents, whatever. But you have to build that level of trust. And there are a lot of stepdads who jump into a relationship who are not mature enough to take on the responsibility of a relationship, right? So then they assume, like, I just stepped in, like, I'm here for your kids. Why aren't they showing me respect? Why don't you give me permission to parent or to discipline or to at least give my advice on a given situation without always looking at me with like some sort of discontent or concern that maybe I rose my voice too loud or I'm not saying the right things. So we take that reaction from the moms, and then we take it personal, right? And we take it personal for a couple reasons. One of the reasons being, like, we want to know why nobody's grateful. We want to know why, that we're not given that full like rope that allows us to just be the parent. And it's because of the false narrative that's driving the behavior. It's the mother being protected. It's the single men or the fathers or whomever it might be jumping into a relationship, not mature enough to do so. Hey guys, let me just give you the heads up here. If you jump into a relationship and you already have a kid or you're already a dad and then you decide to blend your families, in no way, shape, or form does that make you mature enough to be in a relationship. That's not what that defines. It just makes you capable of having a child. Okay? The maturity that comes with parenting, with being a partner, with being in a relationship, with the years of responsibility that you owe to yourself to do the work on you, is how you develop the maturity to sustain a relationship over time, which is why there's so many divorces. I mean, why there's so many men that jump into relationships with one foot out the door, right? Because they're not my kids. This is not my life. That's not my situation. So the moment I feel uncomfortable, I feel like that I'm not valued, I'm out. And then you want to know why the moms are don't trust or don't fully give their trust. Here's the problem. It's because they're protecting their heart, right? They're protecting their heart because they don't want to get hurt again. Don't take it so personal. Women have been protecting their heart since they're old enough to start liking boys. Or women, right? It doesn't matter. They're protecting their heart. We protect our heart. We do it in a little bit different way, but we protect our heart just as well. We play things off like it doesn't bother us when we know good and well we go home behind closed doors when nobody's around and it bothers us. So then we turn to little vices, and everybody does this. We turn to our vices. So don't act like you're not valued within a home right off the bat and then take it personal. Guess what, guys? You're not fully valued. You have to earn trust. And that's where it comes with the false narrative driving the behavior. Okay, the commitment level is low and unstable. Both adults are not prepared mentally to sustain a friendship, a relationship, and a partnership. The roadmap and blueprint passed down and passed around, it is littered with inconsistency and inherited ignorance. We see it on TV, movies, books. The people that are on our talk shows that talk about how bad their stepmom is or stepdad, and the evilness behind it all, right? So the process to your approach either has to change, or the future will be filled with too many unanswered questions. There's nothing worse than being in a relationship and it ending and not fully understanding why. Taking it personal, then you have hatred towards them. A lot of parents and a lot of adults make the mistake of believing that when they jump into a blended family scenario that it's about them, and they forget to focus on the kids. Or it's the complete opposite. They put all their focus on the kids and they forget to focus on themselves and the relationship. And I preach this all the time, guys. Like, allowing the outside noise, the ignorant articles, and the jaded step parents to mold your reality is a losing strategy. Let me repeat that. Allowing the outside noise, the ignorant articles, and the jaded step parents to mold your reality is a losing strategy. Meaning, be wary about the advice that you take online. You post a question, you're going to get a lot of responses. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but like, make sure that when you're taking this advice, that it's sound advice. How do you know if it's good advice? Take a look at the relationship that person's in. If anybody ever gives me advice online, I do a quick little reverse engineering on them. I want to know what their pictures are like. I want to see mind you, pictures don't define a family or define a life. I understand that. But if you're posting a whole bunch of selfies and a whole bunch of pictures with your boys in Vegas, and like 4 or 5 pictures of you and your kids and your wife or your girlfriend, then I know where your priorities lie. And guess what, dude? It's not your fault. You're just not mature enough to be in a relationship with children. Look, kids change the entire spectrum and the way you have to handle being a stepdad. A stepdad is a huge responsibility. A stepdad is a responsibility that, as you all know, I take with full pride, honor. I'm told every second of the day, every time I post something about being a stepdad, you're a dad, you're a bonus dad. Don't say step. Why? Like, again, you're feeding me your ignorance because you believe that the word step has some sort of a negative value to it. I don't think like that. I don't think like that because I was properly prepared for the future of my family. The way I was properly prepared is the thing that I preach to you guys every second of every turn of every moment. It's by starting your journey in a place where it's going to actually get you somewhere. Not on the freeway, but on the side road, right? On the side road that has bumps and dirt and sometimes no path. And that's how you find out who you are as a person. So when I'm reading these, and this is all parlaying back to what I originally said, when I go back online and I'm reading all these things, it's almost like a lot of these men and women on these other parenting sites I belong to, they just want you, they want to just, hey, listen to my problem. But don't mess around and solve it. I don't need you to solve my problem. I need you to listen to my problem, and then I need you to feed me whatever advice you can give me. Chances are I'm going to read it though, and then I'm going to forget it 10 minutes later. There are not a lot of step parents that properly apply the good advice that's online. So I was reading this gentleman's post this morning, and another gentleman posted an article about, and I'm not going to read the entire article obviously, but it was very interesting to me because the title of the article, okay, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree, but the title of the article is very interesting. It says, this is the cold, hard truth about blended families. And it goes on to say, let me rephrase this. It goes on to give permission to circumstance. It goes on to give permission to, hey, it's been going on forever. Like, it's not going to change. Really, there's nothing you can do about it other than just ride out the storms and pray that everything's going to be okay. You guys, that's not true. You can easily take the reins. You can become the master of your ship. You can drive your family. You can drive the narrative, and you can drive it into a position of positivity and prosperity when it comes to what it means to be a stepdad, what it means to be a parent, what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a partner. There are a lot of little things to do, right? But when I look on here and I read a lot of these questions, and remind you, I don't know if I'm just wired like this, but I can read a person and who they are and how they are based on the question. And it's just a gift that I've had my whole life. I'm able to read people. It's just what I do. And I'm not going to read this gentleman's question, but I can tell you right now that his question is centered. It's built, his question and the way his life is over the last 10 years as a stepdad, or 9 years as a stepdad, is built on top of not understanding who he is as a person and having no confidence. He's the kind of person that needs that recognition, like, hey, I did a good job, pay attention to me, or can I get Can I get the thank you? Can I get you're appreciated? He's the kind of person that needs that. And the reason he needs that is because he's either not been told that his whole life, he's not done the proper work to understand that self-worth comes from within. And he searches and seeks for it outside. And when he doesn't get it, he gets upset about it. But what he's not understanding is that because he didn't do the proper work in the beginning, developing the communication the right way with your partner, with your kids, and with yourself, because he didn't do it the right way in the beginning, he's now 9-10 years into this relationship, and he's still saying to himself, I really don't know where I stand. Look, man, if you don't know where you stand 9 years into your relationship, you messed up. You messed up, man. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with messing up. It's the awareness to understanding that you messed up. That's where magic happens. We take too much, we take it too personal, or we take it like we're too hard on ourselves when we mess up. We're too hard on ourselves when we don't do the right thing as stepdads. Guys, as of right now, and I'm changing that, but there are no, who's there? I'm working, babe. You're gonna have to do it in like 20 minutes. Is that okay? Actually, you know what? Come in for a second. So guys, I do my podcast from my office, and I've got a Peloton bike. And hey, can you just peek your head in here and just say hi? This is my middle daughter, Clara. I've been in her life since she was 5. Hi. There she is. How old are you now? You're 15? Man, this is just my podcast that I do. You good? Yeah. Okay. Have fun riding the bike. You're gonna go 2 miles?
No, like 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. I did that yesterday. Please, if you're gonna turn on the TV, can you turn it on low?
I'm just using my AirPods.
Oh, sounds good. Okay, love you. So, where was I? Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just take it back, and I'm going to end it because this is the episode back, and I could talk about this subject matter forever. And I've already done an episode on, be aware of the advice that you get online, and and make sure that you're doing the right research on the person. You guys want to research me? By all means, please do. I hope you do. Go to my TikTok, boom. Go to my Instagram, blah. Go to my Facebook. Go to my private stuff. Go to my professional stepdad accounts. Go to the accounts that I belong to with other blended families where I'm out there trying to do my very best. You can change the entire narrative around your situation. You can, but there are levels of commitment that you have to make first. The levels of commitment are the first. You got to make that level of commitment to yourself and doing the self-work, understanding why you do, say, think, act, speak, smell, like all these things. Why do you do what you do? Have you ever taken the time to do that, to really fully understand yourself? And then more important, forgive yourself? Then you got to work on that teamwork with your partner. My wife gets mad at me because, I want to help discipline the kids, but she doesn't really take it serious, or she doesn't let me, chime in, or she goes, hey, I got this. I got the parent. Like, again, the narrative says that's her kids, not yours. She should parent, not you. There's this program that is out there called Nacho, which in the phrase Nacho, okay, the phrase meaning like those are not your kids. So just by engaging in the Nacho scenario, you are consistently reminding yourself and the children that they'll never be yours just because they're not blood. That has nothing to do with it. DNA is irrelevant here. But people are teaching kids that are Nacho kids, and this is how you should parent. Let the mom do it. Dad should, the stepdad should never help out, or vice versa. That's wrong. That is wrong, guys. That is 100% wrong. You're adults. If the world was to go into complete anarchy tomorrow, and you're a good-hearted person like I am, and people started dying around you, I'd probably inherit like 50 or 60 children just in my neighborhood alone. Do you think that I'm not going to properly guide them as a leader, which includes discipline and manners and stability? Because if you think that, you're wrong. It's a level of trust that you have to build within your home before you can ever get to that point where your wife looks at you and trusts you fully. Like, yeah, what you're saying I agree with, because we've talked about it. We're on the same team. And the kids understand it because you and your wife communicated so well. And then you communicated with the kids to the point where they look at you now not as the stranger, as the stepdad. They look at you as the male figure in the house that they can come to with their problems, they can depend on for leadership, and they can look for if anything is to ever happen. Like, you're going to be there to protect them. That's what being this position in this home means. It has nothing to do with the label of stepdad, bonus dad, bio dad, all this other bullshit that we believe the narrative tells us to do. And then we follow those guidelines, and they're leading you down a path that is going to end with you getting online talking about how, yeah, guys, I'm fed up. Can't take it anymore. My wife and I did blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend and I did this. The kids don't respect me here. The bio dad this. The grandmother's doing that. The uncle's doing this. You're going to end up online telling the world your problems. And I'm not going to have any sympathy for you, because you chose to allow all those things to drive your journey, to really be like, to define who you are as a man. Like, this is what this is about, men. This is what this is about. Stop asking so many goddamn questions concerning, like, you know, why won't, you know, like the parenting question, like, why won't she allow me to parent? Or, I swear to God, I read this one where this guy literally says, does anybody feel the need to tell their stepdaughter or their stepson that bio dad is a piece of shit? Why do you feel like you need to do that? What does that help? Like, what does that do? I mean, you allow the bio dad, whatever he's doing, maybe he's a drug addict, maybe he is a piece of shit, maybe he's mean, maybe he talks about you behind your back, maybe he gets people to send you shit and bad emails and terrible posts and all that other stuff. So what? So what? If that's happening, if he is, the more the bio dad, and this is negative bio dads, right? This is excluding positive bio dads. There are amazing bio dads out there. I've met tons of them. They just weren't ready for the relationship. They still love their kids, but they understand that that the relationship with the mom is not there. And you know, the crazy thing is that the really great bio dads that leave not only on a good note, but they leave and then they find themselves in a position where they're friends. My son has his friend named Ro, and Ro's dad and Ro's mom are divorced, and they both have new wives and husbands, and they're co-parenting at soccer and basketball and all that is amazing, because they did it the right way. And the right way was they realized, oh shit, it's not about us, it's about Ro. And guys, that's it. It's about the kids. But so this guy, anybody feel the need to tell the stepson or stepdaughter that their bio dad's a piece of shit? If you feel the need to do that, that means you are allowing outside forces and outside circumstances to drive the narrative within your home. Your only focus should be your home. There's enough complications and work to do at home with you first, then your partner, and then your kids. That's the order, guys. You, me, us, and then them. Too many stepdads jump to the them, forget about the us, or forget about the me. Me, us, them. That's going to be on the website. It's going to have great information as far as like how to do these little tiny things on a daily, through your daily grind, with reminders and ways to develop new habits and values for you. Like, it's incredible how there are a lot of men who don't do the self-work that try to drive the same values and circumstances that they had growing up. And that's not how it works. Our children are growing up in a different world. They're growing up in a world filled with viruses and crooked politicians. Mind you, they've been here the whole time. This is just kind of coming to light. I mean, we never dealt with the whole stay-at-home, wear a mask thing. Everything's online. To all the parents, step-parents and bio alike, all those times where you got upset that your child was on a device, and then you took it away from them, and then now they're doing everything on the device, and you're wanting to pull out your hair because they can't understand how to properly navigate something. I feel bad. Like, it sucks. You took it too personal and serious. Like, there's a level of commitment that you have to have of letting your kids kind of figure out the world on their own. Sure, you could put time limits and you can tie it into to chores and to disciplines on how they use these products. But again, and this goes into a whole nother thing, which is if you don't understand how to properly communicate with your kids, you'll notice, guys, how I always say, like, your kids, my son, your daughter. I really try to stay away from the whole constantly reminding you or reminding myself that they're step, because when you get to a level like where I'm at, you don't ever see it like that. You don't ever, it's a feeling. It's a switch that turns on and can never be turned back off, you know? So, this is like the whole, like, I'm back on the podcast doing it. Guys, just make sure you're doing your research. Make sure you're taking care of your home. But remember that what did I say earlier? The commitment, low, the roadmap, blue, process approach. Okay, yeah. Don't let the false narrative behind step parents, the evil version of us. And I say us, I mean, because there's an evil version of us that exists. There are, guys, there are evil fucking people out there, bio and step alone. I'm serious. You never really hear movies about the real evil dad. I can't even think of it. The stepdad all over the place. But don't allow the current narrative to drive your behaviors within your home. Guys, listen, I know you're looking at this on YouTube, and this is on my phone, and this is like there's a square here if you can see it, right? Within here lives my world, lives my kids, lives me, and lives my wife, and lives and our family. I take care of what's in here. I've built this layer of trust with my family. I built this level of confidence, this layer of confidence with myself and with my wife, that the outside circumstances, if they try to penetrate our world, they're gonna have one hell of a time getting in and staying. And that just comes with time, patience, persistence, consistency, doing the self work, doing the partner work, then doing the kid work, communication, these little tiny things you can do. This is the cold, hard truth about blended families article. And I will never take away from somebody that writes an article. If you put something out there, I have to applaud you. You were confident enough to put your voice out there. And I believe that everybody's voice should be heard, even if it is advice or opinions that not everybody agrees with. I personally don't agree with it. I personally don't agree that there's no cold, hard truth about blended families at all. It should say, this is the cold, hard story told about blended families that everybody believes. Think about it. So ask yourself that question before I let you guys go. Ask yourself that question. What behaviors, what outside circumstances, and what people, what platforms, what is driving the narrative within your home and your behaviors? Are you doing the self-work? Be honest. Are you really, have you done it yet? If not, ask me, I'll tell you how to do it. Is your relationship with your partner one of teamwork and not one of like opposing coaches, calling different plays and audibles? The relationships you have with your kids, when you take away their phones, when you ground them, put them in a room and close the door, and then you're wondering why it doesn't work, there's a reason. They're literally telling you, hey, mom, dad, that's not the way to communicate with me that I'm gonna understand. You gotta do that work. Guys, I never said this was gonna be easy, and I never said this was gonna be big. You know, those people out there, and learn how to change your relationship and build rapport with your children in 6 weeks is fucking bullshit. Everybody's timetable is different. There are men on here that have just got the first I love you from their kids 10 years into the relationship. And then there are men on here that were embraced as dad 6 months into the relationship. It's not up to us. It's not up to us. It's our job to do the work. So the question is are you doing the work? Yes or no? Simple. Okay, guys, episode 32, the Professional Stepdad podcast and show. Website coming soon, guys. Website coming soon. I'm going to put my email down here, contact@francozavala.com. If you have If you want me to send you anything, you have questions, concerns, send me a message, send me an email, find me online. But remember this. When you ask the question, when you ask the advice, when you're asking for that guidance, remember, as I'm reading, I'm going to learn who you are within the question. I'm going to learn the kind of person that you are within the question. So when I respond, I'm going to respond to the man that I think you need to become, not the man that you are. The man that you are now is going to probably take some of the things I say a little bit offensively. Is that right, offensively? You're going to take it personally. You'll take it a little personal. And if and the more personal you take it, the more you should wake up to, like, holy shit, he's right. Make sense? All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. Always love, always grateful for everyone that watches the show, that subscribes to the show, that listens to the show. And I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, if not Friday. Be well.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.